here's the domino effect. Here's what I've also discovered in the past 10 years. Traveling the country, I see that superintendents, the way they treat their principals, is how their principals treat their teachers, and how their teachers treat them. So it's a domino effect from the top down. School board to superintendent, superintendent to principal, principal to teacher. Unless you get that diamond in the rough, you stand out regardless. Jeff? And so you all are very fortunate because you have a leader who understands it's not about him. And he understands the spirit of humility. The higher we go, the humbler we are to him. Jeff? Because at the snap of a finger, whoever puts you there, you take you out. Jeff? And so we need to understand, first and foremost, before the children come Monday, that you are assembling a dynamic team of individuals. Right? And so that way you're grateful to be a part, a member of the team. But how many of you know it's time to change? It's time to change. This is real work. This is when the real work starts. And you can choose two streets, Change Boulevard or the same old street. Jack? And in doing so, I need to remind you that every individual in the school should make a significant contribution. But I need you to define what that is. At Carpenter Elementary School, what is a significant contribution to a child's education, to your school success, and reminding you that you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. And let your hard work speak for itself. We're always trying to get a hookup somewhere. Jack? Oh, hook me up. Let me get on this team. Let me get on that team. No, you come to work every day and work hard and let your hard work speak for itself. And this man right here needs 100%. I'm going to give you the breakdown. It's not 12% on Monday, not 23% on Tuesday, and look at Wednesday, 40% because it's hump day. Then Friday in elementary school, you can wear jeans for $1. Types of people, those who make it happen, those who watch it happen, and those who wonder what happened. Jack? Those who make it happen, those who watch it happen, and those who wonder. And I make sure that these little boys and girls that are coming your way on Monday, I need to remind you that one day you're going to be held accountable for what you do with them. It's not going to be from your superintendent or your principal. It's going to be a much higher authority because it is by design that they're being sent to you this year. You in particular, you specifically. So this is the year we have to get it done. Jack? Right.
How bad the kid, I don't care how much trouble the kid gets in, I don't care how much poverty, I don't care how much whatever is going on in that kid's life, if we still look at that kid and we say, there's the next president, there's the next entrepreneur, there's the next CEO, there's the next computer scientist, there's the next engineer, there's the next architect, whatever the case may be, we still see that in the kid, we don't lose that. See, that's attitude. And that's being very much deliberate, very much intentional about who's in our space. Crucial. Climate and culture matter. I wrote a book called Closing the Attitude Gap last year, and I defined them this way. I said the climate is the movement. So, and I don't mean individual person movement, but I'm saying that collective mood of that is the climate. So, as speaker, you may not be thinking about this on a conscious level, but I will let you know that as speaker, you gave me a power. You gave me an authority, you gave me an influence to set the mood for this room. As a speaker, I can come in here with a variety of different deliveries. I decided to use the one I did, and you gave me permission to do so, and therefore that becomes the mood of this room. But we had an interesting exchange, and it led me to act a little silly, and it brought about laughter, and it totally changed the mood. I'm not saying from bad to good or good to bad or working. I'm just saying it created a shift momentarily in the mood. But I was the one that triggered that. I mean, you triggered in terms of what you said, but in terms of my response to it with the SFA. So I'm saying that as teacher, you have the same influence, the same authority, the same power over the mood of your classroom. You have it. Regardless of the challenges, you have it. But you gotta realize it. And then we couple the mood with the lifestyle, the culture, the way we're living in this room. And you look at one room and then you go next door to another room and you'll notice that maybe the lifestyles are totally different. Maybe one is productive and then you go down the hall and next door and the other is counterproductive. The lifestyle, how we're living. But going back to my question, I said, tell me to what extent did you mentally prepare for the first day relative to the climate and culture? You have got to know on that first day of school what you want that mood to be before the first youngster walks into the classroom. Of course, the youngsters are going to participate in that initial collective mood, but you've already conceptualized what you need that mood to eventually become in order for the youngsters to learn. And then the lifestyle. How is it that we're going to be living? What is it that we're going to do? What is it that will set us apart from everyone else? Our lifestyle. How many presenters did you have this week? So I'm the third. See, let's talk about that for a minute. It's my hope, and I'm gonna lump myself in here, that 3 presenters in 1 week. I hope that the 3 of us have been beneficial to this school. I hope so. But here's the thing. Go back to Principal Kegler. Principal Kegler made a decision. I'm in a new school. I'm in a different world. I've got a lot of new staff members here that were not in this school last year. I want my staff to hear from 3 different presenters, from 3 different places, 3 different worlds perhaps, but I want my staff to hear them. Now, to bring in the 3 presenters in 1 week is not necessarily the norm in schools in 1 week so early in the year. But in terms of the culture that principal, as leader of the school, has conceptualized, I want my teachers to hear these 3 different perspectives in terms of whatever the other 2 presenters spoke on for this week. Well, that's being very intentional about a culture that he wants to establish within the realm of leader, but not by himself because he's got all of you. So, the PD alone culture, but then the outcomes in terms of how we take what we heard and implement culture. So culture being very intentional. But the means to that culture, meaning the 3 of us and whatever else that you guys do, being very intentional. So culture, it's one thing to let culture evolve. I would never do that. Unless it's evolving organically into just what I want it to be. And it typically does not work that way. So therefore, I have to be very intentional about what it is I want it to be. Your intention, keep using that word, about ensuring that all of my students here, that they're special, that they're gifted, that they're talented, that they're awesome, that they're tremendous, that they're extraordinary. See, you say, if nothing else, I'm going to make sure that they get that message every day. I'm going to fire them up every day. Because see, you got some kids who could be going home and they're hearing something total opposite. You're nothing. You're nobody. Said, however. So, you got to counter that. But then, as I said, you being the educator of your parents, you got to make sure you take care of that too. Put it on Facebook so I can get it on my page. So you got to make sure that they're hearing, I'm somebody. See, I tell in keynote addresses that there's a longer story. I'm going to give you a very brief one. The only reason that I'm standing here today doing this presentation, and I might add the word, the only reason I have the confidence to stand here and do this presentation is because of a professor who's one of the only teachers from grades kindergarten through graduate school, in this case undergrad school, said to me in a public speaking course that I went to the dean to see if I could not have to take it, and then had to take it, and went to the professor and pleaded with him that I not have to give a speech. And he said I would fail if I didn't give the speech. So when I gave the speech, the professor said to me, "You are a speaker. You speak well." 1985, you speak well. And I challenged him, I said, "No, I don't." He said, "You do." He said, "You are a speaker." And I haven't closed my mouth since 1985. Because one man convinced me. I never had any aspirations of being a speaker. I never even conceptualized this was something that one could do and make a living. So he said, "I'm a speaker." What did I hear? Had I not heard those words, there'd be some other guy, some other young lady standing here saying. We have to make sure that we speak life, and I use those words all the time, into our children. Speak life into our classrooms. Speak life into even our parents in some cases. Oh, there's in Texas stuff. So what do they hear? What do your students hear?